This discovery on Mount Everest was shocking. What scientists found in the eternal glaciers of the highest mountain in the world reveals dark secrets that have completely changed our understanding of this giant of the Himalayas. Curious? Today, you will learn 14 shocking facts about what happens on Mount Everest. Join us and let's go. Number 14. The unidentified flying object. The extreme altitudes of Everest have become the stage for one of the most intriguing phenomena ever documented in mountains. The meticulous work of filmmaker David Breshears in 2012 produced extraordinary visual evidence by composing 477 high-resolution photographs. The black object captured in the images exhibited characteristics that defied the known laws of aerodynamics, moving at 9,000 meters above sea level, where the thin air makes conventional aircraft flight impossible. Government documents released in 1998 revealed a series of 7 unrelated previous sightings. One of these incidents, recorded by a military expedition, described an object emitting light pulses at frequencies not found in known natural phenomena. The most tangible discovery occurred when a research team located a metallic artifact 292 kilometers from Everest, exhibiting metallurgical properties that did not match any known alloy on Earth. Number 13. The ghosts of altitude. At Everest's extreme altitudes, where the thin air challenges human survival, a phenomenon intrigues scientists and climbers. At 8,000 meters above sea level, the human brain operates under critical conditions, receiving only 30% of the oxygen needed for normal function. Accounts from Padori, a Sherpa with over 50 successful ascents, document experiences that defy scientific understanding. Apparitions described as dark shadows moving against the wind are reported by various experienced climbers. Neurophysiological studies conducted in altitude laboratories reveal that the brain, under extreme hypoxia, can create altered perceptions of reality. Body temperature below 35 degrees, combined with extreme exhaustion, produces a biochemical cocktail that directly affects higher brain functions. Number 12. The unique survival of the goral. On the inhospitable slopes of Everest, the Himalayan goral demonstrates the extraordinary ability of life to adapt to the planet's most extreme environments. This rare bovine has developed unique biological traits that allow it to survive at altitudes where oxygen is scarce and temperatures rarely exceed freezing. Its cardiovascular system features modified hemoglobin, capable of efficiently transporting oxygen at 40% higher rates than other mammals. The fur of these animals has advanced thermoregulating properties, with hollow fibers that trap warm air close to their bodies. During winter, they develop an additional layer of fur that reflects up to 90% of ultraviolet radiation. Their specialized diet includes nutrient-rich lichens and mosses found only above 4,000 meters in altitude. The heart of these animals has walls 30% thicker than normal, allowing it to pump blood efficiently under low atmospheric pressure conditions. I have a question for you. First, I'd like to tell you that it's possible to keep up with the biggest curiosities of our world every day. But for that, you need to be subscribed to our channel. So, have you subscribed yet? If not, take the opportunity to subscribe now. Now that you've done that, let's go. Number 11. The third-person phenomenon. In the hostile territory of Mount Everest, a unique psychological phenomenon has intrigued scientists and climbers: the third-person syndrome. This extraordinary event, first documented by botanist Frank Smythe during his solitary journey in 1933, manifests as a comforting presence accompanying climbers during moments of extreme isolation. Researchers from the University of Cambridge conducted a comprehensive study with 76 climbers who experienced this singular phenomenon. The accounts exhibit remarkable consistency, a protective presence that emerges in critical moments, offering silent guidance and psychological support when danger intensifies. The detailed descriptions provided by participants allowed for the establishment of specific patterns of the phenomenon. Contemporary medical analyses revealed a direct correlation between the occurrence of the phenomenon and altitudes above 7,500 meters. In these extreme environments, the scarcity of oxygen triggers a unique interaction with the prefrontal cortex of the brain, resulting in alterations in sensory perception. Portable neuroimaging equipment used in recent expeditions recorded distinctive brain patterns during reported episodes, providing the first physiological evidence of this extraordinary phenomenon. Number 10. The mystery of the four climbers. In a discovery that challenges scientific explanations, the bodies of four climbers from the 1924 British expedition were found in an extraordinary state of preservation. Laboratory analyses revealed tissues in surprising condition, as if time had stopped in 1924. The constant temperature of -40 degrees created a unique, natural preservation environment. The equipment found with the bodies includes technologies from the 1920s, but their state of conservation suggests much more recent use. The natural fiber ropes and steel crampons show minimal oxidation, an inexplicable phenomenon considering the length of exposure. The absence of official records regarding disappearances at that time adds another layer of mystery to the case. Number 9. The sanitary crisis at high altitudes. An alarming environmental issue was discovered by researchers on Mount Everest. The amount of human waste deposited annually in camping areas exceeded 12,700 kilograms in 2023, surpassing previous estimates by 30%. The Sagarmatha Pollution Control Committee recorded that this mass of biological waste is equivalent to the combined weight of 2 adult African elephants. In areas like Base Camp, located at 5,364 meters above sea level, the concentration of waste reached critical levels. Laboratory analyses conducted in 2022 detected the presence of fecal coliforms at concentrations 200 times above the safe limit for natural waters. Professor Pablo Figueroa documented the phenomenon known as glacial regurgitation, where the natural movement of glaciers expels frozen waste, creating contamination streams that extend for miles. Samples collected from streams flowing down the mountain showed alarming levels of E. coli and other pathogens resistant to extreme cold. Number 8. The Green Mark of Tragedy. The silent drama of the green boots on Mount Everest tells a story that transcends the mountain itself. Sewang Paljor, born in the highlands of Ladakh, carried a connection to the altitudes in his DNA. His steps with the Indo-Tibetan Border Police led him to a mission that would forever change the history of mountaineering. In May 1996, during an expedition that promised glory, fate wove a different narrative. The storm that formed that day became one of the most devastating ever recorded in Everest's history. Temperatures plummeted to -40 degrees, with winds exceeding 100 kilometers per hour. In a final act of survival, Paljor found shelter in a small natural cave at 8,500 meters above sea level. There, he faced his last hours, surrounded by the deafening silence of the mountain. The extreme cold preserved his body, turning his characteristic green boots into an involuntary landmark that today serves as a reference point for other climbers. Paljor's story intertwines with alarming data. That same year, 15 people lost their lives on Everest, marking one of the deadliest periods in the mountain's history. Number 7. The conflict of the Sherpas. A significant anthropological discovery occurred in 2014 when researchers documented an unprecedented incident involving the Sherpa community. The anthropological data collected during the incident revealed surprising aspects of social dynamics at high altitudes. A group of 150 Sherpas, carriers of a specific genetic mutation that facilitates oxygen absorption at high altitudes, confronted an international team of climbers at Camp 2, at 6,400 meters above sea level. The recovered recordings documented a rising tension that culminated in physical violence, forcing the foreign climbers to make a descent deemed technically impossible. Subsequent analysis of the events revealed that the Sherpas, who typically carry 90% of the equipment on expeditions and receive only 10% of the profits, were facing increasingly dangerous working conditions due to the rise in high-altitude tourism. Number 6. The impossible vegetation. On the seemingly barren slopes of Everest, a silent botanical revolution is underway. Researchers have identified 4 distinct zones of vegetation at altitudes that exceed theoretical limits for plant survival. Satellite mapping revealed a 40% increase in subnival vegetation cover between 2000 and 2020. The discovered species have developed extraordinary adaptations. Their cells contain high concentrations of sugars that act as natural antifreeze, allowing survival at temperatures as low as -40 degrees Celsius. Phytochemical studies identified unique compounds in the cell membranes of these plants, which alter their fluidity in response to temperature variations. Continuous monitoring documented accelerated growth cycles during brief windows of favorable conditions, with some species completing their reproductive cycle in just 72 hours. Number 5. The mystery of the missing oxygen tanks. In the imposing glaciers of Mount Everest, a disturbing enigma has challenged the logic and safety of even the most experienced climbers. Oxygen tanks, essential equipment that ensures survival in the deadly zones above 8,000 meters, have vanished under inexplicable circumstances. Renowned climber Rupert Jones Warner was at the center of one of the most emblematic cases when his oxygen equipment, strategically positioned for a historic double ascent attempt, disappeared without a trace. Investigations conducted by mountain safety experts revealed an alarming pattern. Over 30 similar occurrences were recorded in just the last 5 years. The tanks seemed to evaporate without apparent explanation, ruling out initial hypotheses of avalanches or snow burials. In each documented case, search teams found the original markings of the deposits intact, yet the vital equipment had vanished. Various theories have emerged to explain this unsettling phenomenon. Some experts suggest the existence of organized groups operating clandestinely at extreme altitudes, stealing equipment for resale on the mountaineering black market. Other researchers propose more scientific explanations, investigating possible atmospheric anomalies that could affect the metal of the cylinders or create specific conditions for their disappearance. Number 4. The frozen sea fossils. The rocks at the top of the world hold evidence of a time when sharks swam where climbers now ascend. Marine fossils found at 8,848 meters exhibit exceptional preservation, allowing scientists to identify microscopic details of creatures that inhabited the seas 250 million years ago. The collected samples include ammonites with their nacreous shells still intact, trilobites with preserved articulated appendages, and fish with fossilized scales retaining their original luster. Stratigraphic analyses revealed that these sedimentary rocks were formed at the bottom of the ancient Tethys Ocean, later uplifted by the collision between the Indian and Eurasian tectonic plates. Radiometric dating of the rock layers demonstrated that the uplift process occurred at an average rate of 4 centimeters per year over millions of years. Number 3. The missing Russian expedition of 1952. In the history of mountaineering, few events have caused as much impact and speculation as the mysterious disappearance of the Russian team in 1952. 6 exceptionally prepared climbers, equipped with the most advanced gear available at the time, embarked on an ambitious mission to conquer the summit of Everest for the first time. The team's last transmission, recorded in the final hours of the ascent, preceded one of the mountain's greatest mysteries. Recently released government documents revealed disturbing details about the team's last communications. The climbers reported unprecedented weather anomalies and the presence of inexplicable lights on the horizon. The expedition's weather diary, recovered from a forward base, recorded unique weather patterns that challenged the typical conditions of the region. The complete absence of traces sets this case apart from other accidents on Everest. Decades of subsequent expeditions, equipped with modern search and rescue technologies, have found no material evidence of the Russian team's presence. Not even equipment, ropes, or camps were located, as if the mountain had completely swallowed the 6 climbers. Number 1. The multicolored Valley of Death. At the altitude where commercial planes fly, a scene unfolds that blends beauty and tragedy in unimaginable proportions. The Rainbow Valley, located above 8,000 meters, presents a chromatic spectacle that hides a devastating reality. The vibrant colors that dot the white landscape do not come from flowers or minerals, but from high-tech mountaineering gear that now serves as silent witnesses to tragedies. In 2019, the mountain witnessed a grim record. Hundreds of climbers formed lines in what became known as the traffic jam of death. Statistics reveal that for every 4 people who reach the summit, 1 loses their life in the attempt. The congestion on the main routes created waiting zones at altitudes where the human body was not designed to remain. In these areas, known as the death zone, oxygen levels are only 1/3 of what is available at sea level. The average temperature of -60 degrees preserves the bodies, creating a natural museum of modern mountaineering tragedies. Which of these discoveries shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Now I'm leaving a video for you to watch. Enjoy it, as I set it aside just for you. Well, that's it, and see you next time. Curious One.